Simpson here at the conference office moderating today's call. And before we begin, we'll start with our usual announcements and notes, and then we'll turn it over to our coaches. First, as we recap Week 5, our Players of the Week from this past weekend, the Choice Hotels Offensive Player of the Week was Liberty running back Desmond Rice. The Defensive Player of the Week for Monmouth, linebacker John Sikowski. Special Teams Player of the Week was Liberty kicker John Lunsford. And the Kronz Brand Freshman of the Week, Monmouth wide receiver Reggie White, Jr. So those are our honorees. Congratulations to them as we recap last weekend and start previewing this week as conference play begins Saturday with 3 games. And we'll look forward to hearing from our coaches talking about this weekend's action. Last week, the Big South collected its 5th win over an FBS opponent with Liberty's victory at Georgia State. John Lunsford tied the FCS career record for most 50-yard-plus field goals. He had his 11th, a 56-yarder against Georgia State on Saturday. Coastal Carolina's D'Angelo Henderson set the league record for most consecutive games with a touchdown. Now at 19, he's 1 away from matching the FCS mark. Presbyterian College's Donnell Williams continues to move up the Big South career tackle chart, now in the 6th position. Monmouth quarterback Cody Williams, he's pacing ahead of the Big South freshman records for total offense per game and passing yards per game. And 2 television games on slate this Saturday. The Big South ESPN3 Game of the Week features Presbyterian College at number 1 to Coastal Carolina at 2 p.m. And our second broadcast of the day, our season debut on the American Sports Network, 7 p.m. Saturday as number 15 Liberty travels to Gardner-Webb to face the Running Bulldogs. So with that, we'll turn it over to our coaches and the head coach of our first team, the Running Bulldogs of Gardner-Webb, Coach Carroll McCray. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, Mark. How you doing today?
Doing fine, thanks. Hope you're well. Bulldogs with the open date, hosting Liberty in the conference opener Saturday night. If you could open up, talk about what the team worked on, who may have gotten healthy in time for Saturday's game. Then we'll start taking questions and talk about Liberty.
Okay, well, certainly we had plenty to work on, and I feel like we got some things accomplished with some young guys and old alike. I don't know that we really gained anybody health-wise that didn't play in the Wofford game. We did get our young freshman tackle back, our left tackle, coming back to play a little bit in practice this week. I think everybody else that did not finish the game will still be out for this upcoming week. So still got to reach down and get some young guys ready to go. And some of those guys will be day by day as we head into the rest of this week and the 7 o'clock contest on Saturday. So we won't know about some of our guys until we warm them up. They'll be day by day, and we'll keep treating them, trying to get them well. So certainly looking forward to starting conference play. Talk a little bit about Liberty. Certainly they are as advertised. Coach Gill's got a fine-looking football team, and they represented the Big South in an outstanding way in Atlanta this past week against Georgia State. I'd anticipated that they'd play very well against Georgia State, and certainly they did. They fought really hard down there and came out with a victory with a lot of their guys making a lot of plays. And I think they've certainly got some marquee guys in good spots. Most of the conference knows about their marquee guys. The quarterback, who has played a long, long time, along with Peterson, their receiver. I think probably the biggest thing that's recognizable is that Farrow and Parker are playing a whole lot of receiver, having a really fine year for them, and I think they have a really dynamic freshman that jumps out on film in King at receiver. And then you mentioned the offensive player of the week was Rice, and he and Abner certainly give you a 1-2 punch in the backfield. So defensively, we certainly going to have to be on mark and play very tough to try to slow them down offensively. I think they're very focused and very disciplined in what they do, have a good game plan each and every week. Defensively, their defensive line. I think they're big and strong, and certainly they have, all-conference player in 52 at defensive end. But I think they're really strong on the inside, with Green and Brown and Spicer and Cook. Those guys give you some big guys inside. I think they're very athletic. Probably the biggest thing that I think I see on videotape is it looks like they have competition in a lot of spots. They're playing a lot of guys. They're holding everybody, to be very, very focused because they do have competition and a lot of athletes running around. See a lot of guys playing in the secondary, a lot of guys playing in different spots. Even up front offensively, looks like they got some good competition going on. So very deep football team and very well-coached football team. You mentioned Lunsford. I was impressed with the kick. I told some guys watching the videotape, the cheerleaders were behind the goal post, and when he kicked, I believe, a 56-yarder down there in the dome the other night, they still looked behind them. That ball hit behind the cheerleaders, so he's got plenty of leg, and they're in position to score as soon as they get close to the 50. So really fine team. I'm looking forward to our team lining up, seeing if we'll challenge a football team like Coach Gill has at Liberty, and see if we'll get out there and fight for our school for 60 minutes and show to improve ourselves and represent the conference well as we start conference play.
All right, thank you, Coach. At this time, we'll start taking questions for Gardner-Webb head coach Carroll McCray. To ask a question, please press *1 on your phone at any time, or click the Q&A link near the top of your browser, and click raise hand if you joined us via the web. Coach, while we wait for a question or two, talk about just a little bit, just briefly, what you all worked on as a group last week during the open date.
Well, we took some time. We worked, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We worked a lot of fundamentals on the field. We worked from the kicking game to offense, defense. We went back and allowed all of our redshirt kids, along with some walk-ons, to practice and get into competition. I thought we had good, solid work. We worked pretty quick, but had a lot of fundamental work, and then toward the end of the week did much more team so that we, good on good, that we could react to the speed of the game and try to get caught up with some guys that I thought really need some game-like reps on the field, and we did quite a bit of that on toward the end of the week, headed into the weekend, and then got a little bit of rest over the weekend, hoping that we could get our legs back and have a lot of spunk in our step as we head into conference play this week. So got some work done. Hopefully got a little rest. It'll show this week as we go through our game preparation for conference play, and then it'll show more than that on Saturday night.
All right, Coach, this time we'll move to questions for you. And our first question is from Mike Tilley of the American Sports Network. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Coach. Mike Tilley up in Virginia. Hope you're doing well. I know you've got a lot of young players. I've seen it documented, the freshmen that are playing and all of that. Where have you seen the biggest improvement here in the first few weeks of the season?
Well, I've seen small improvements in a lot of our guys. I think we've had some young guys, even in the secondary, that have come on, haven't played a whole bunch in their careers. I think I've seen them improve as we've gone through the weeks, and I think we're building a little bit of depth in some spots defensively, although, we need more depth as we go through the season and get banged and beat. But I saw some improvement in our receivers this past week, a little growth in their blocking and some things. But, we really got to show that improvement in the ball games. I think right now we're still in transition of taking things from the practice field to the game field and really proving ourselves to be what we need to be as the game starts. So still work in progress with a lot of young guys. And we need to take some of those fundamentals and really be more honed in and focused on those things as we have game play.
It seems like Mike Estes has been such a bright spot on offense. How would you describe him as a tight end? What are his top skills?
Well, I think he allows you to, put him in different spots. I think he can give you some mismatches in the pass game, and, he's working on his blocking ability as far as moving him around in the backfield and on the perimeter and things. But he's a big athletic guy that really has good ball skills when we can protect and, through play action, get him the football. He's proved to be able to make first downs for us, but been pretty consistent. Certainly has some work to do on his blocking, but he's a guy that we're counting on improving as we go week by week and showing leadership offensively as we grow some young guys around him. That's for sure.
Coach, your defense seems to obviously be very, very strong. I mean, very impressive. Is it just a matter of the veterans that are back there? Is it something strategically you're doing that's making this defense perform so well?
Well, we got some veteran players. We got a couple of guys up front that have played a pretty good bit of football, and we're trying to develop some depth there. But our linebacking core is a group of guys that have had a lot of play. We got 2 seniors and 2 juniors. And those guys have played a lot of games in the Big South Conference. And, Tanner Burt's coming back as our quarterback in the middle, kind of gets us all lined up. And I think that's proven to help us quite a bit to have our older linebackers back in the lineup after being out all last year. I think in the secondary, we've had some guys grow up. We're playing more young guys there probably than any other spot. And but we were forced to play some kids last year in Spencer Havard and Angel Guzman and Trey Lucas and some guys that really got a lot of growth in last year's ball games that are coming on playing a little bit better this year. So work to do, but we do have more experience and we're a little older there than we are offensively, of course.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. And Coach, I'm not seeing any more questions for you, so we will let you go. Thanks for joining us, and good luck Saturday against Liberty.
All right, Mark. Thanks a bunch. We'll need it. Y'all have a good week. Bye-bye.
All right.